"Excuse me, miss, but you're in the wrong place." The sharp, condescending tone cut through the air before Lisa Carter even had a chance to fully process it. The woman standing before her, dressed in a stiff gray blazer, let her gaze sweep over Lisa in a single dismissive glance, her expression dripping with instant disdain. Lisa had stepped into Westbridge Industries that morning with her heart pounding in anticipation, a mix of nerves and excitement swirling inside her. To the employees, she was just another fresh-faced, new hire. But in reality, she was far more than that. Lisa Carter was the newly appointed CEO, stepping into the company under the guise of a low-level assistant. Her mission? To observe firsthand the inner workings of a company, the good, the bad, and the ugly, without anyone knowing who she really was. But it hadn't even been 5 minutes before she encountered her first major obstacle, Deborah Sullivan, the department manager. Lisa had carefully curated her appearance that day, intentionally keeping it simple, plain slacks, a modest blouse, and minimal makeup. She wanted to blend in, to be treated like any other entry-level employee. But as Deborah's eyes narrowed in disapproval, Lisa instantly recognized the unspoken judgment in her gaze. To this woman, she was less. She didn't belong. "I was told to report to this department," Lisa responded, keeping her tone even neutral. Deborah let out a scoff, folding her arms. "And who exactly hired you?" Lisa fought the urge to smirk. "You did." She didn't say anything else. Instead, she reached into her bag and handed Deborah a copy of her employment letter. The woman barely skimmed it before rolling her eyes and tossing it back like it was a piece of trash. "Figures," she muttered under her breath. "HR keeps hiring just anyone these days." Then, with a sneer curling her lips, she turned to a passing employee and spoke loudly, deliberately ensuring everyone nearby could hear her. "Bet she's some diversity hire. Guess they needed to fill their quota." Lisa felt a slow-burning anger rise in her chest. She had encountered workplace discrimination before, had seen it play out in different ways over the years, but to witness it, this blatantly on her very first day? It was infuriating. Originally, she had planned to spend a few weeks undercover, gathering insight before implementing any changes.
But now
she wasn't sure if she had the patience to wait that long. Taking a deep breath, she forced herself to remain calm. If she reacted too soon, she might tip Deborah off before she had the chance to fully expose the toxicity that had taken root in the department. As the day unfolded, Lisa watched. And what she saw only reinforced her growing suspicions. It wasn't just Deborah. Her attitude had spread like a disease, infecting others. Several employees mirrored her behavior, their biases playing out in subtle yet undeniable ways. She saw how Charles, an older black man with years of experience, was routinely assigned the most grueling, thankless tasks, while younger white employees were handed easier, more prestigious projects. She noticed Maria, a Latina receptionist, being talked over and dismissed in meetings, her input disregarded as if it didn't matter. And Lisa herself? She was given nothing but menial, mindless work. "You can start by organizing the supply closet," Deborah had told her, a barely concealed smirk tugging at the corner of her lips. Lisa clenched her jaw. This woman had no idea who she was messing with. Later that afternoon, Lisa found herself in the break room, stirring a cup of coffee, when Charles walked in. He hesitated at first, but then offered her a polite nod. "How's your first day going?" he asked, his voice kind yet cautious. Lisa sighed, shaking her head slightly. "Interesting, to say the least." Charles gave her a knowing look. "Let me guess. Deborah's already put you in your place?" Lisa raised an eyebrow. "She seems strong-willed." Charles let out a humorless chuckle. "That's one way to put it." He leaned against the counter, absent-mindedly stirring his coffee. "She's been here for years. Upper management never does anything about her. They don't care." Lisa's heart ached at the quiet resignation in his tone. "Not for long, Charles. Not for long." The next morning, Lisa arrived early, determined to get a clearer picture of the department's dynamic before Deborah realized she was there. And what she witnessed only cemented her decision. At exactly 8:55 a.m., Charles arrived, on time, down to the minute. Yet Deborah wasted no time berating him for being late, her voice loud and sharp enough to make heads turn. But when a younger white employee strolled in at 9:15, Deborah simply waved it off with a light-hearted chuckle. Just try to be on time tomorrow, okay? Lisa's hands curled into fists beneath her desk. Then, during the morning meeting, Deborah openly humiliated Maria in front of everyone, cutting her off mid-sentence with an exasperated sigh. Sweetheart, let the men handle the important stuff. That was it. That was the final straw. Lisa had originally planned to stay undercover for a few weeks, but that was no longer necessary. The damage was clear. The toxicity? Unacceptable. It was time for the big reveal. Without hesitation, Lisa walked straight into Deborah's office and closed the door behind her with a quiet but deliberate click. Deborah barely looked up. You need something? Lisa took a seat across from her, calmly folding her hands on the desk. Actually, yes. I'd like to discuss some concerns I have about this department. Deborah scoffed, leaning back in her chair with an unimpressed smirk. You've been here for a day, and you think you know anything? Lisa smiled, a slow, knowing smile. Oh, I know plenty. I've seen how you treat people. And I've seen enough to make my decision. Deborah rolled her eyes. Decision? What decision? Lisa leaned forward, her voice unwavering. I'm Lisa Carter, the CEO of Westbridge Industries.